All right, so let me just go back to that screen one more time, just for the recording purposes. All right, so we have the little boy closed his door, and what we're doing is we're gonna translate this from English to Samoan, okay, and we're gonna use the principles that we've learned thus far with our tense, action, and our subject, okay. But in this particular instance, the last thing that we learned is we had two subjects. So how do we and two specific kind of subjects. So let's go to the whiteboard and we pull that up and we had the little boy close his door. I forgot what it was already. How do we say that? Let's see. Boy close his door. Okay, so let's translate this to Samoan.
Sa tapuni,
Okay, sa tapuni
ele tama,
eletama.
iti iti.
Oh yeah, iti. I'm always bad at spelling this. Tama iti iti. I still think I spelled it wrong. Like kamakiki. I know how to say it, but it's kind of hard to say, spell it. So sapuni ele tamatiti, and then what's the last part?
Lona faitotoa.
Lona paito to. Yep. So well, more specifically, this was like people would definitely say it like this, but just for our clarities, or since we're learning like the book kind of way, so Satapuni would be, what would that mean?
Was closing.
Was closing, right? So the boy was closing the door, but you'll definitely hear them interchange all the time. So it's not, but just so if you hear someone say sa, or if you see someone say na, so if it was na tapuni, that's going to be closed. So closed. And then also here's another thing that you're going to hear whenever you see these kind of sentences where one subject is doing an action on another subject, you're probably going to hear like a suffix added to the verb. So tapunia, you might hear something like that. Sa tapunia le tamaititi le tamaititi lona faitotoa. You might hear that. You probably, more than likely, you probably would hear that. But if people leave it off, people will do that as well. But that's what that suffix is. Go ahead.
One thing for me that I always got mixed up with sa and na also, but then was has that s in it, and so I just remembered was goes with sa.
Right, yeah, it was. So it's like it's sa, and we can talk about, go back to our tense markers too. Sa is kind of like olo'o. That's another way to think about it. Olo'o is present tense and it's happening right now, right? Sa is, again, it's like olo'o, but it's in the past. So you talk about an action that's in the past, but it was happening. So if we say the boy was closing the door, so at the time of the me telling the story, the boy was closing the door. Sa tapunia ele tamaititi lona faitotoa. Everyone understand that? So it's although it's in the past, the action as I'm telling it is still going on. While I'm telling the story. So someone said, ua. Is it ua? The little boy closed his door. Yes, it can be ua. So let me copy all of that and then just change it to ua. I think this is probably why I use different ones, because they can be different tenses, the same English translation, but in Samoan, if we're being more specific, this would be the boy was closing the door, or was closing the door, was closing by the boy the door, his door. And this one is has closed, has closed. Okay, the little boy, or by the little boy, his door, right? And then someone said na. So na is also past tense as well. So this is, what did someone say something? I think so. So tapu nia ele tamai. I still think I'm spelling this wrong. I think that might be right. Lona by do toa. Okay. So it could be either one of these depending on the context that we're talking about. The little boy closed his door. So it could be the little boy was closing his door. The little boy has closed his door. The little boy closed the door. So if it was like, one of those quizzes like pick the most correct one, it would be na tapunia ele tamaititi no faitotoa. But people would use the same translation for that and use any one of these. But the most correct one would be the boy closed his door. It's finished, over, and done. All right.
Can
And
you
again,
go over why you would add the A there? to
okay,
the-
yeah, exactly. So when you see this so the is because one subject did the action to another subject. It's not
Sorry,
always. I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah. The
Yeah,
tapu,
tapun.
you said tapuni, you put tapuna, tapunia.
Yeah, so it's okay to say it like that, but like if some people are real sticklers, when it comes to saying stuff. So and really I'm presenting it also because if you see it, you'll know why it's there. It's because one subject did the
Oh,
action to another subject.
okay.
So yeah, it's like a transfer of I don't know, one subject did the action of tapunia to lona faitutoa. So that's why it would be there.
Is it sometimes also INA at the end? Ina?
Ina. Well, yeah, well, tapun in this case for
Not for this one, but in
yeah,
other.
exactly. Yeah. So I think our next one is gonna do that one. So I'll table that for the next one. So let me go back to our where's it at? Okay, our quiz. Okay, my sister poured. Well, maybe not for this one. Let me yeah, okay, yeah, for this one. So we'll come back to that last part that you just said for number 3. So my sister poured the water. 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 The water. Okay, so how would we translate this one in Samoan?
Na sasae lo'u uso levai. If I'm
Na
saying it,
sasa'a. Yeah, sasa'a, na sasa'a,
E lo'u.
e lo'u uso levai. Yep, there we go. And what's another way if I were to say it or any other guy were to say this?
Tua fafine.
Yep. And let's see something in the tuafafine. Yep. So na sa'a e lo'u tuafafine levai. Okay, and then again, uso is can be male or female. So we'll dispel that myth in this class. But if it's woman to woman or girl to girl, it's gonna be that they're uso. If it's boy to boy or man to man, that's also uso. But if we're going from a woman and she's saying, this is my sister. I'm sorry, if it's a woman saying that's my brother, then that's a tuangane. And if it's a guy, now I'm getting confused. That was correct, the last thing I said, but now I'm trying to get all the sexes correct. If it's going to a sister, like that's my sister, then it's to a fafine. Did I get all of them? Hopefully I got up. Let me just write off to the side just because this is a very popular question. So uso is same sex. I just put it like that. Same sex, same gender. Same sex, same gender. And if it's male to female, then she is my tua fafine, like we have here, fafine. If it's gonna be female to male, then that is her tuangane, tuangane. All right. So, all right, but yeah, good. So, and again, with the na poured, like people will they might say ua only because like that would be has poured. It's just sort of the same as the last question. It could be has poured, or some people might say sa 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 elo uso levai. So that's was pouring. So it just depends on the context, and but the tense is very important to to what we're saying here. But the most correct one in this particular sentence would be my sister poured the water. All right. So let's go back to number 3. The minister was reading the Bible. The minister was reading the Bible. The minister was reading the Bible.
Is reading.
Oh, okay. Is that, yeah, remind me. I don't know. The reason why I keep repeating, because my memory's so bad, it's getting worse. I have no idea what's going on with me. Okay, so the minister,
Too much gluten.
something, the minister is reading the Bible. Okay. Yeah, this is I actually think I need to go see a doctor for this. But so the minister is reading the Bible. So how would we say this one? Without looking at Google, I think
It's
it's
the minister, not this minister.
oh, this, okay, the minister. Thank you. See, I told you. Okay. Timothy said olo faitao elef fai okay, I'll copy that. Yeah, fight it out. Okay, thank you. I was about to look up what that was. Okay, so fight it out. Fight it out. Okay, so olo. Oh, wait. Okay, so this is this what you said? Faitao. Okay, my bad. I changed the wrong word. Olo faitao. Ele fight it out. Fight it out. There we go. All right, so is reading by the minister. Ele fight it out. Letusipaia, the Bible. Okay, take these off because you had it. All right, so is reading. So currently, right now, the minister is reading. Olofaitao elefaiao letusipaia. Now, here's where it comes to, I think, I forgot who said it already, but you might see the ina. Olofaitao ina elefaiao letusipaia. You might see that. More than likely you would see that because we have a faife'au that is doing the action of faitao to letusipaia. All right, so the one subject, the faife'au, is doing this action of faitao to letusipaia. So then we add this ina. All right. So again, it doesn't always happen. People don't always do it. But I think that more than likely you will hear it like that, but if you do hear it, that's why, because that subject is doing the action to another subject.
And what if you switched it, like you said, you can switch and say like le tusipaia ele faifeao.
Exactly.
Add it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. It would just be like it'd be like that. So olo faitawina le tusi ele faifeao. Yeah, so it wouldn't matter that, you can just change it around. But again, you might hear people, they might not say it, they're just olo faitao le tusi tusi paia ele faifeao. So it just depends on who you're talking to. Rarely do I say that's wrong or that's right, because people do it all kind of ways, but I guess.
And is there a way to know when they add just an A or when they add the INA?
That part, no, I think that's just getting used to like, okay, let me write some examples down. I guess this is actually a good exercise. I need to incorporate this with the classes. So if we were to say okay, so faitao, if we were to say faitawa, well, I can't say does that sound right, because if you never heard it before, then what is right and wrong? I need to think about this one. Let me table this discussion. But like faitawa, like I don't think you'll ever hear anybody say faitawa, but faitawina, yeah. So faitawina I'll just do a couple other ones. This is kind of helping me out right here too. So what's another one? Tapuni. We did Tapuni. Okay, so would we say Tapuni Ina or what's the other one?
Yeah, that one
Tapun-
seems like it makes sense because it ends in an I. But I was
Right.
wondering, like other ones,
Yes. So this one would be
an
like
I, you just add an A.
yeah, Tapunia. Okay. Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. If it ends with an I, you know what? I think you're right. If it ends with an I, then it's probably just an A. But if it ends with a U or O, what's the
Can you
verb that ends
do
with a
Pasavali?
what's oh Savali? Oh, okay, Savali. So what would Savali be?
Do you just add an A to it?
Savalia. Savalia. Yep. So I'm trying to think if I ever heard Savalina. I feel like I heard that before. Savalina. No, well, I mean, more than likely it's probably gonna be Savalia. But again, I don't know. Let me look into that because I don't want to confuse anybody. Because I'm like working through stuff as I just know when I'm speaking that it's just they naturally or like either Faitawina, Tapunia, and stuff like that. Savalinga, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so there's so many variable like, and I don't know like if there is a rule to say like these are just more so words that you would hear, and you just know them from hearing. So like this one, Savalinga. Am I even saying that right? I'm confused.
What about like kamoe?
Kamoe. Yeah.
And then A.
Yeah. Tamoe is. Let me see. Tamoe. Right. So, yeah. Tamoe just kind of stays. Tamoe. Some of them just stays the same. Thank you, Narina. Yeah. Some of them just stays the same. I think it's more so just knowing the word and just hearing it in conversation. So since I don't have a rule like to put out, because more so that's what this class is about, putting out rules so that you can apply it. I don't have one for this. So let me leave this part alone. If you just say the root word and over time, especially if you're hopefully the goal is to actually get into conversations with people and apply the language, then you'll hear if people are saying tapunia or Faitau. I don't think anyone's going to say Faitawa, but if they do, then say it like that, but more than likely they'll probably say Faitawina. It's just a matter of getting used to the words that people are saying, if that makes any sense. Oh, sorry, I just let you in. Okay. So let's go back to our lesson. I think we did all of them. Yep, the minister is reading the Bible. Let's go to the next one. All right, so now we're on location phrase. Location phrase is a whole another phrase. So we had tense combined with our action. So that's gonna make like savali walks, oro savali walking, or things like that. Then who's doing the walking? So we have a subject. All right. So it's savali litama, the boy walks. And then sometimes we have two subjects, like we just did. Our quiz was over two subjects, but now we're introducing another subject or another kind of subject, but it's a location. So the subject does the action to a location. The subject does the action to a location. So when this happens, let me just give an example. So let's go back to our thing. So we have let's just use something we've been doing all day. The boy walks to the park. Okay, so we do have two subjects here. What's one subject? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's do it in order. What's our tense? Walks, right. And then so that would be present tense. And then what's our action in Samoan? What's our action in Samoan?
Savali.
Savali, yeah. Savali Valley would be like that's yeah. I guess you get well, we'll just use Savali too. Yeah, Savali. Okay, it's Savali. Oh, I'm trying to let him in. Oh, here he goes. He's in there. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Es Savali. Okay, and then who's doing the walking? Or who's doing the walk, the action? Letama, yep.
Letama.
Letama. Yep. And then now what's the other subject?
The park.
The park, exactly. So and this is the part, this is our new, I'll just put this in caps, the park. So this is the new part right here. And to the park, this introduces our location. This is our whole new phrase right here that we're going to be learning today. Oh, not all of that, just to the park. Okay, so in Samoan, in English too, there's something called preposition, right? And it just prepares you for the location of where the action is going to. So let's go back to this slide. So if you would probably hear something like E. Okay, E is one of the most common prepositions that you're going to hear. So if we say the boy goes to the park, okay, I mean the boy walks to the park. All right, so we had savali letama e. So now we're starting our preposition. We're starting our location phrase. All right, e le paca. All right, someone says something here. Yep, ilipaka. Yep. So we have esavali letama ilipaka. So this is just our whole new phrase. Although it's a subject phrase, we wouldn't say olepaka. You know, it is a subject. We wouldn't say olepaka, right? But because it's a location. So letama, subject number one, esavali, walks, does this action to the park, ilipaka. Okay, so esavali letama ilipaka. Does
Is it
everyone
always
see that?
paca? Can it be pata? I know it's butter, but can you switch?
Oh, like that.
word?
That I don't know. I've always said paca, so and that's only because it's like a knockoff of the English word. So
So
Malay
you
is
keep
another
it sama
word.
though, even though you say paca, you don't
Oh,
have to change the T.
say that again, please.
You don't have to change the T in tama, even though it's paca.
Well, that's only because I only know park as paca. Like I don't know it to be this. I'm not saying it's incorrect because I don't know it as this.
Butter.
But yeah, that could be, that could be right. But I only know it as, since I only know it as a K, it's okay for me. Well, in my mind to say esavali le tama ilepaka, or I could say esavali le kama ilepaka. But again, I wouldn't know. T can be said like K, but not the other way around, right? Yeah, exactly. T can be said like K, but not the other way around. But I think the confusion here is because some people, it seems like they know baka, like park, as pata. Was I don't know it like that, but I might not be right. So but I've never heard pata as like park. I've only heard it as baka, as like the English knockoff. So it's avali le tama il paka. But you guys are on the right path because exactly, if you start with a T, say your T's all the way through. You start with the K, say your K all the way through. And the only way to test it is just say it around some Samoans, and I guarantee you they're gonna they're gonna say something about that. Malaika alu, yep, malaika alu. So like, let me copy what Norina said. And this is a play field. So this is another way to say park. Malay, so field, play field. So malaika alu. All right, so let me go back to, again, now we're learning prepositions, different ways to introduce location phrases, okay? So this is actually should have the Fatma Mafa over it. So let me draw that like that. So yeah, so names, proper nouns, and months. So natusi letama ya Yohane. Ya Yohane. I also think depending on how you're asking the question, right? Like if you're using the word butter, yes, butter is definitely pata. And and we could say you know, we could, you know, we could say paca like that, like, you know, butter, but I almost always say butter pata, because it's also a knockoff of the English the English language. So that would you guys picked like the hardest word to talk about. But yeah, butter. I'll ask around about butter. That's actually a good video to make too. So butter park and butter, yeah. So yeah is how we introduce names, proper nouns, and months. So natusi letama ya Yohane, to Yohane. So the boy wrote to Yohane. All right, so the action of write is going to Yohane. All right, natusi letama ya Yohane. Okay, ya te. Okay, introduces singular pronouns. This is I've seen this in the book that you guys got, Ngalu Male Mana Hunkin, this one right here. Oh, you can't even see it because it's green, right? But so in that book and some of the other books, they'll say ya te introduces singular pronouns. So ote alofa ya te oe, like I love to you. So you know, and like this right here, natusi letama ya te ia, to him or to her. The boy wrote to him, or the boy wrote to her. Okay, so that's a singular pronoun. But you know, even in the tusipa ia, you'll see like ya te imato. Imato is us, like multiple people. So that's a discrepancy that, you know, like in that book, I trust the book, but at the same time I do see other instances where that rule doesn't hold up always. But I'm just throwing it out there because, you know, you'll see a lot of literature that will say yate is for singular pronouns, like yate ia, but you're probably going to see natusi letama yate ilato to them, you know, something like that. All right. So those are the rules, but again, they're not always followed. All right, so we talked about this already. Natusi letama. So we have a tense. I guess we just go over it just for clarity purposes. Our tense and our action, of course, is going to be past tense write, which is wrote, and then letama is going to be the subject doing the action, and they're going to do it to another subject, and that's our location. This is a location because I'm writing to Yohane, okay? And because I'm writing to Yohane, it's going to be ya. That's a proper noun, right? Natusi letama ya Yohane. So the boy writes to Yohane. All right. And I'm pretty sure you guys probably heard things like this. Ilunga o. So that's our preposition. All of these are leading into a location. Okay. Ilunga, and then then we're remember how we introduced our subjects, our nouns, ole tavale, ole tama, ole teine, ole, you know, whatever it is, ole fale. So ilunga ole fale on top of the house, okay? Ilalo ole fale, below the house. Itutonu ole fale, inside of the house. Ifafo ole fale, outside of the house. Iluma ole fale, in front of the house. Itua ole fale, italatu, way out there, ole fale, beyond the house, beside the house, italaneo, itaftafo. All right. So these are again, we're introducing a location, and these are just the words that tell us where the location is at, and then we start into our subject. And you know, before we were dropping the O, like when it comes right after something, but when you say ilunga, we wouldn't say ilunga fale, ilalo fale. We would, in this case, in the location phrase, and that's why we break every phrase down, because they have different rules. Ilunga ole fale, we would have to put the O in there. Okay, so that's a little something different that we've been doing from the last week. All right. And there is a worksheet on this. Let me copy it. I'll pull it up real fast. Okay. We're gonna do this right here in a second. Yeah, okay, so I'll put this in our chat. Everyone. Okay. All right, so let me go back to all right, so our location school. Oh, let's do this together. I think we can do this together. So the mouse ran under the table. In this case, we do have the words here. Isumu is mouse. Tomoe is to run, and lao lao is table. So how would we say the mouse ran under the table? The mouse ran. Oh, I'm gonna go back to the whiteboard while you guys are. The mouse ran under the table. The mouse ran under the table. Okay, so I'll just put this while you guys are coming up with something. I'm gonna just put the tense, action, subject, location. So let's break it down. The mouse ran under the table. So what is our tense?
Nah.
Nah, yep, okay. Yeah, it could be nah, it could be also ua. So it could also be you know, but the most oh, okay, yeah. She has that there. So and then I'll also put put both. Okay, so uotamoe, so has ran the mouse, le isumu, and then ilalo, and then ole. You'll see ole spelled like this. And then you'll, you know, it could be like that either way. So ilalo, ole, lao lao, under, beneath, whatever other words you have for under in English that translates to ilalo, and then ole lao lao, under the table. So this is the mouses ran under the table. People will say that. And if you wanted to, if it was like a long time ago, or you know, definitely past tense, na tamoe le isumu ilalo ole lao lao. Okay. So ran has, well, you know, not has ran the mouse under the table. Now notice we don't have the e. We don't have an e this time. And the reason why is because one subject is going to another subject. If there's no the mouse didn't do anything to the table, it's going to that table. All right. So for some people that takes a little bit to digest, especially after coming. It's different from closing a book or reading a book, because one subject has a direct impact on the other one. But in this case, we have a location. All right. So the location is under the table. Ilalo ole lao lao. Ilalo ole lao lao. All right. So we don't need the e. Everyone understand that? We don't need the e because the mouse went to a location. Let's do another one. Where am I at? Put my coat inside of the car. Put my coat inside of the car. Okay. Tu'u, we're gonna use, well, there's a few ways we can say this. We'll just use tu'u. That is to put, to set, put peleue, coat, ta'avale. Ta'avale is car. Okay, so I need to remember, put my coat inside the car, put my coat inside the car. Put my coat inside of the car. Okay, so how would we say this one?
I'm just gonna guess.
Okay,
It depends. Would it be for put? Like
Put-
ku'u?
okay, actually, you know what? This is my fault. I didn't say we haven't talked about this. When we're talking about yeah, Norina has it. And this is again, this is my fault. I missed the whole slide when we're talking about the tense markers. If I'm giving a command, a lot of times they just leave it out. Or here's another command. If you ever, right before you get slapped, they'll say like, yeah, I know I told you this, or I told you. Yeah is actually a command tense marker. So it's like right now, like yeah, aloy, they'll say something like that. Yeah, and then they'll give you the command. So, or they'll just leave the command out altogether. So it's exactly what Norina said. Ku'u, lo'u, peleue, itutonu. Well, remember with ole ta'vale. Itutonu ole ta'vale. All right. So it could be either be like that or yeah. So I never knew. I grew like all the way till I was 30 something. Didn't know that this was an actual tense marker. I just thought that was like, I associated that with violence. Like, yeah, something's gonna happen to you. Yeah, lo peleue y le ta'vale. I think I mixed my T's and K's up. Commands don't need a tense marker. Yeah. So a lot of times people will just say they go right to the action because it's present, it's right now, you need to do it right now. So, but if you do hear, yeah, that's it's considered a tense marker. But for the most part, it's gonna be just like how Norina said it. It's gonna be tu'u. You go right into the action. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, but the O, remember, so that is because itotonu, and then that's when we would have the O. Itotonu ole ta'vale. Right. So we start our subject phrase and it comes right after itotonu, ilalo, iluma, ilunga. It would that O comes right there. It's like a whole subject phrase. So this introduces the location, that gives the description of the location, and then the actual subject, like where the location is at, the car. Okay, so I thought la'u are material things, and lo'u, yeah. So people, okay, when it comes to clothes, and I still don't understand this either, but if you say anything about clothes, it's gonna be O class a lot of times, but you'll hear people use it as an A class as well. But clothes like a coat, umbrellas, a house, furniture, things that cover, protect you, or anything inside of a house, or O class a lot of times. But with those things, you might hear people say as A class too. So it's not like it's all the way incorrect. But if someone corrects you, that's probably why. Because clothes are considered something that covers you. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure if it was ole or ile. Okay, so I'm sorry, wasn't sure if it was ole or ile, or is it just ole? Right, okay, so this is kind of why I like to separate it out when we're talking about itotonu o. Like if you write it like this, and a lot of people do write it like that, but when we're like if I'm trying to teach it, it's a lot easier to just keep it like that, like itotonu o. if I'm answering your question, I'm not sure if I'm answering it correctly. But itatonu o and then le ta'vale. So if you just kind of put all of this part together, itatonu o and then le ta'vale. Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, let's go to, oh dang, it's almost over. You guys can pick one because we probably only have time for one more. Let me try to find one that's a little different. I looked outside. Okay, yeah, here's a different one. This will take the rest of the time. I looked outside and she was sitting beside her dog. I'm not gonna remember all that. Or I looked outside and she was sitting beside her dog. So va'ai is to look or to see. Nofo is to sit, and then maile is dog. So I looked outside and she was sitting beside her dog. I looked outside. Oh, thank you. I can copy. Thank you so much. Man, you guys are on it. Okay, so thank you for that. All right, so erase. I looked outside and she was sitting beside her dog. So this is if you could say this in Samoan, you speak Samoan. So I looked outside and she was sitting beside her dog. So how do we say that? Tense. And then remember, if you have multiple subjects or you have multiple this or that, then you know, how do we join those subjects together? Wow. It's okay. So what would be our tense?
Da.
Is it, say again? You said na or sa?
Na.
Okay, na. And there's other ways to say it. I think probably but we haven't got to that part yet where we would have like tense and then our subject and then our action. Actually, you know what? Because we'll just use this one. Well, we'll say the boy. We'll say so we say the boy. So na, the boy looked outside and the girl. But we'll change it up a little bit. So the boy looked outside and the girl was sitting beside her dog. So na, and then what's the main? Oh, go ahead.
Va'ai.
Va'ai, yep. Na va'ai,
Ele tama.
tama. Maybe I should add, since I changed it, let me add this part. Look outside of the house. Oh, I'm sorry. Outside of the house, and the girl was sitting by her dog.
I fafo le fale.
Yep.
Ma le tene. Sa. No folalo.
Tene na no. You said sa no fo. You said lalo.
I don't know. Itala ane ia maile.
Ne,
Lona maile.
lona lana maile. Oh yeah, this is great. This is a great so there's a few different things we need to clean up and I need to hurry because we don't have much time. So let's break it, let's take it in pieces, okay? So na va'ai and then ele tama ifafo o le fale. All right, so we have our tense, we have our action, we have our subject, and then we have our location. Ifafo o le fale. So that's let's just look at it with just that part right there. So what would we change about this right here? Yep. So Narina said Na va'ai le tama I fafo o le fale. Great. So let me move that. So we don't need the because why is that?
Sorry, because it's a direction, not a,
Right. Yeah. So I can look all day at, outside of the house. I can look all day at the park, the sky. My looking does not change. So it does not change the other subject. And that's the difference in the Samoan language and the English language. Our actions, if they don't have a direct impact, we won't need that. So now va'ai, you still might probably hear people say va'aya, but I'm gonna leave that out for now. So na va'ai le tama I fafo o le fale. So the boy looked outside of the house, and then yes, it's not well, let me copy what she said here. O le fale, so she got that, and then o le teine le nofo tafa malane maile. Okay, so let me put that part out. So we probably would have used then, and I really didn't cover that. But we'll just stick with ma. So and I'll take this out for now. And Letene, the girl, Sa Nofu, was sitting.
I thought no folalo was sitting. I forgot to sit down, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, yeah. So yeah, that's sit down. Sa Nofu Italane Lana Maile. Yeah, that's good. So there's and there's again, say again. There's other ways to say this, but this is good for now because we haven't there are other lessons like we could say and then and so forth. You'll understand week after next when we get to that part. But for now, this is good. So we broke it down: tense, action, subject, and then the location, ifafo o le fale. And then we just combine two sentences really. And letene sa nofo italane lana maile. That's we actually
Masano.
Masanofo, yeah. So that's the only part I would probably just for now. Again, there's other ways to say this that would sound better. But for now, for what we learned, this is really good. What you guys constructed. So Masanofo letene italane lana maile. So that's great, and we're right at time. So why is this phrase not spoken backwards like other times? Oh well, yeah, that's that was. Oh, again, here we go. Tense, action, subject. So I think you might have asked that before I changed the before I took Tane and put it the other way. And again, there's also a way to start with our subject. We're just not there yet. We can start with our subject and then our tense and then our action. And then we would add something like the particle I and then the L. We're not there yet. So I don't want to say you never start with a subject because that's not true. But for where we're at right now, this is really good what you guys said. Na va'ai le tama I fafo le fale masanofo le teine italane lana maile. It's 10 o'clock or at the hour here. If you have any questions, just hang around. Thank you guys so much. You guys are doing great. This is a really hard thing. If you can do that and you're comfortable with it, you're doing a good job. So again, we're not going to meet Sunday. I'll see you guys Tuesday. If you have any questions, hang out. Lava,
Thank you.
Malo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lava.